So it's a time for Unpackage from China, but it's going to be a huge one today, and they also call this thing the Moonlight Treasure Box. Ooh. Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video, we are going to take a close look at the new Pandora's box that just came in. This is another model called the 18S RRTV. I did a similar product in the past, but I'm curious what did they change out with this new 2021 model? Because there are so many of these things out there. So inside the box, we do get this converter kit. So this means we're going to get the same weird looking Pandora's box we have seen before. And I'm wondering, can we also upgrade it with Pandora? So inside we're going to get ourselves your typical VGA, HDMI cable, power supply and all the necessary stuff. But when you're looking at this is the new version, and didn't review it before, because this is a completely new redesign of the case too. So what I like about it, we do get like the same basic layout we have seen before, just no mumbo jumbo, just a 6-button layout. And it comes in this very nice metal casing in combination with a very nice acrylic top up on top of it. So it's quite nice and I personally really like it. Also the bottom plate already mentioned, this thing is made fully out of metal, so it gives a very nice quality feel to it. And that's something that I really like about these old kind of cases. What do I mean with old kind? Yeah, because I have already seen it many times before, but I just wanted to take a close look at this new model. But it's convenient, you can just like unscrew 2 screws and you can just flip it open. But how is it with the quality? And also the vinyl sticker on it looks very nice, quality very thick, and if it's going to get like damage you can also replace it fairly easy, because that is something you can do with this model. Okay, so let's take a close look at the joystick. It's just your typical Samba clones. It's a very nice, and this is responsive that we're going to find out with testing some games. The buttons, there are like 3 different colors, but they are the same quality. They love to mix it. I've seen it before, like they're using different colors, having like different quality, but the same long travel Chinese buttons. And of course here we do have like the tiny ones for player 1, and of course the pause menu. But the button layout is quite interesting and basic. So we just have like your typical 6-button layout. We also have 8-button versions out there, but this is just a typical 6-button. We do have 2 buttons over here. This one is the pause, player 1. And we also have a pause button over here and the player 2. So just like we have seen with, let's say, the deluxe editions, we do have like extra nice buttons when you're plugging it into a game system. But for the, let's say, built games, this is just more than enough. So this mainboard is not your typical mainboard. We do get an extra USB port. And the reason why, because this thing is very weirdly made. So to begin with, when you're looking over here, we even have like 2 on and off switches. One over here and one over there. So because this is also like a game system, or they sell it like a game system, but it's a quite interesting one. Some of these boxes are possible to upgrade with Pandora. And here we have like an HDMI out, and if you want to have a VGA, you need to have the converter that I've shown you before. A feature you don't see very often is that we do have like an extra on-off switch for the LED strip. Yeah, so it seems to be like that's the reason why we do have an extra freaking button. But when booting up, what you're going to get is the the 3D Pandora 18S Pro, the Wi-Fi RRTV edition. So what you're going to get with the menu is something we have seen many times before here on the channel. So for the people who have no idea what it is, so basically we're going to get set here the all list. When pressing start, you can go to the search instantly. Here we go to have the recent list category. What I like about these boards, we do have the support for PlayStation Portable. Take consideration this doesn't run that perfect. I have seen a lot of issue with it. But in the end, like some things are playable. For example, PlayStation 1 and 64 always be a mixed bag with these things because it's low power chips. We have like NES, Super NES, Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color Classic. They're still using the freaking Xbox logos, but it's basically Mega Drive, PC Engine, and of course we do have some options to play some Dreamcast, but also this is going to be like a mixed bag when it comes to the performance, some MAME, like the same stuff we have seen many times before. Okay, so let's take a close look at the menu, because sadly there is no, let's say, big improvements. We do have like disabling the image optimization, or you can put in some scan lines, but it's just the same stuff that we've seen many times before. We have to enter the game market, but I'm just a little bit disappointed. It's the same stuff that we've seen before. The Wi-Fi is only for like going into like this weird naughty store that doesn't work half of the time. We can even check for updates, but those features, take them with a grain of salt, because most of the time they don't work at all, or yeah, they work, but it doesn't make any sense, because updates, I want aspect ratio, but they don't update that, no, because they don't give a shit. Okay, we're starting off with the Tekken 6 PlayStation Portable. I'm just gonna be honest, like it looks really horrible. It has been set to frame skipping #1 and it doesn't run like great. If you're going to press play 2, we're going to have even option to play against each other. So that is a very cool feature not every Pandora's box has. But let's boot up the game. Let's see how it runs in general. Alright, so let's see what we're going to get with this. Of course we have the shaking feet. See, that's the problem with these bloody devices, that we do have always like the same issues over and over time. They don't improve anything. Or they can't, or they don't just give a shit. So let's see what happens when I'm pressing play 2. Here you can see it automatically goes into the versus mode. I think it's pretty damn cool that we do have this option with a couple of these PlayStation portable games. Let's see if we can get out of it. You cannot do anything. Okay, you need to wait. And now we can get out of the game. But also the save functions still have the same issue with that. Because the quick load, quick save doesn't work with PlayStation Portable, PlayStation 1 and a lot of other systems. Alright, so next up we do have PlayStation on this machine. There's no like the aspect ratio configuration here. So we're going to get like widescreen to the maximum level. But we have to reach the point that most of these Pandora's boxes does have the option to play the PlayStation 1 games. And here I just want to quickly show you that we don't have a quick load, quick save. Okay, so next up let's try a little bit of Bug Bumble. Just wanted to see how it runs. It's an N64 game, but N64 is going to be a mix of like games that doesn't run at all, or we have games like this that runs okay. I don't know if it's going to be like the best way to play, simply because with the joystick and we're missing our buttons, because the N64 has way more buttons to play with some games. So yeah, so you have like a couple of problems that you can't solve or with the joystick at all. And this button can lay out. Indeed. Woohoo! Okay, so what I do like about this is that we do have 8-bit and 16-bit games that we can play on this machine. And they run pretty damn good. Now the question like which button should I press to shoot? That's like the first time if you're going to play. Because the button layouts are completely a mess. And like changing them out is another problem. But here you can see like the 8-bit, 16-bit stuff does have the option to make a quick load, quick save. The same issue that I've seen before. Okay, so next up I wanted to try out, of course, the MK game from MAME, because that's the ultimate tech test. But the weird thing is with this is like, the loading times are so freaking long. And that is not the case with every single Pandora's box, so I don't know why this is with this certain model. Alright, so let's take a close look at the Mortal Kombat game, because it's going to be quite challenging to beat this chick, because it's going to be freaking annoying. Just lay down. I'm going to get my ass whooped here. But seems to be this game runs just fine. So these casings are not the worst ones. Simply because when you're looking at the design, we do have the hinge, they can just open it up. I really like it, you will need a screwdriver to put it in position. So when it comes to the quality, I do see some difference over here. They are using a completely different kind of a joystick, but it is not, like say, responding that poorly. I must say, and overall, I'm very satisfied with that. The buttons, yeah, your typical, like say, buttons, but they are using the translucent editions now. So over here, we do have the original cable tree, not the weird stuff that we've seen before with special encoders. We don't have like your typical cable that you need to plug in there. The same goes for the other ones in here. So there are some changes then when you're looking at the mainboard, especially because this is a mainboard we did have seen before, but this is kind of a weird one, simply because this is more like a weird Android box they completely converted, or that is a thing that I've seen in the past. So let's take a close look at that. I'm curious if this thing is the same like the previous one. They call it the 18S RRTV, but you can see like sometimes you find the same mainboards only with a completely different name. Another thing I'm wondering, can you upgrade it with Pandora software, because it would make this thing so much better. Okay, so let's remove the final cables, but I need to be careful that I'm not going to switch these two, otherwise I'm going to mess up the mainboard. Because one is for the LED strip and the other one is for the speaker in here. And the speaker is your typical speaker that we have seen before with your previous Pandora's boxes. They go quite loud. But the way how they made this 12-volt line over here is absolutely laughable. Look at it. Look what they did. They just like slammed in this 2-pin connection because it doesn't fit. Oh boy. But we have seen this main board before. I already told you this is like this weird looking like Android box converted model with a special PCB for the connection with the normal, let's say, Pandora's box. That also explains like why I have 3 USB ports, because in the normal like Pandora's box we don't have this. We do have this tiny like cooling block over here, RAM modules, but when it comes to cooling it's completely passive. I must say it does an okay job, because this thing is getting really hot, and in the end like it can basically like use this full metal plate for basically getting the heat from the chipset. Quite interesting concept. I have seen it before. They also sell this thing like a separate game system, because you can plug in some controllers from most of these devices and just play 4-player or 2-player. Quite interesting. So basically we're back to the basic when it comes to the case itself, but not in a very bad way, because I personally really love these cases. You can open it up, you can basically like clean them fairly easy, and if you want to replace something, you can do it like plug and play. And that's what I really like about it. But this is what we're going to get. It's the same stuff we have seen before. A new year of Pandora Jungle, but basically the same stuff. Yeah, the 18S Pro RRTV. I'm wondering if we can upgrade it with the Pandora tool, because it's the same board like the Pandora games. No, wait. Pandora Saga 3D. Yeah, like those names are like absolutely like crazy. Let me know in the comments what do you think of this, what do you think of the box. But thank you for watching, consider subscribing, hit that little bell, become the Wicked family, and I will see you in the next video.